Welcome back to Park and Post. Today, I'm going to guide you through airport security's complexities. Imagine you're ready for your dream vacation when you're randomly picked for extra questioning by airport security, customs, or immigration. But don't worry, I've got you covered with 20 tips to navigate new customs and immigration questions smoothly. So buckle up, as this journey is both thrilling and educational. Don't forget to join our free newsletter and become a friend of Park and Post. By signing up, you'll receive exclusive offers and updates. Click the link below to join our newsletter and start enjoying the benefits today. Number 1. Remain calm and respectful towards the officers at all times. Dealing with airport security can certainly be stressful, but it's important to keep your composure. Officers are trained to pick up on body language and emotional cues that could indicate someone is being evasive or has ill intent. Maintain a neutral, polite demeanor. Don't allow yourself to become confrontational or agitated. This will only raise suspicions. If the officer seems firm or applies additional scrutiny, don't take it personally. They have an important job to do. As long as you have nothing to hide, courteous compliance is the best policy. Stay confident yet respectful, and avoid any defensiveness if asked to undergo extra screening measures or questioning. Your calm reaction is key. Number 2. Answer all questions truthfully and completely. When officers start asking questions, the golden rule is full honesty and transparency. Don't try to be tricky or deceptive with your responses in any way. Customs has broad authority to investigate potential threats, so concealing any details or giving misleading answers is unwise and could be interpreted as a cover-up. Be as open and forthcoming as possible when describing your travels, answering specific queries about items you're carrying and purposes of your trip. If you can't fully explain some circumstance, simply state that and ask if you can provide any documentation for clarification. But never directly lie or withhold requested information. Number 3. If you are unsure about how to answer a question, politely ask for clarification. Don't panic if an officer asks you something unclear or that you genuinely don't understand. Customs, regulations, and protocols can seem very nuanced to the average traveler. Rather than guessing at an answer, ask politely if the officer can please rephrase or explain what specific information they need. For example, if asked about any downloaded encrypted communication apps, you may be unsure if they mean common services like WhatsApp and Signal or something more nefarious. A simple, "Could you clarify what you mean by encrypted apps?" can go a long way to clear up any confusion before you attempt an incomplete response that raises more concerns. Officers would much prefer you ask for clarification than assume risky answers. Number 4. Have all travel documents and identification readily available and organized. Being flustered and scrambling through bags to find proper travel documents is a red flag of disorganization that can prompt additional screening. Before even approaching customs, take a few minutes to get all your paperwork in order: passports, ID, travel itineraries, visa documentation if required. Have it neatly organized and within reach. While answering questions, you may need to reference specific details from documents. Having them literally in hand saves time and avoids the appearance that you're stalling or struggling to keep facts straight. It shows you're prepared and have nothing to hide. Simple organization can go a long way towards a smoother customs experience. Number 5. Declare all items as required, including currency and goods. Customs regulations around what must be declared can seem perplexing, but a general rule is to err on the side of full transparency about anything you're carrying or purchased abroad. Be upfront about currency amounts over $10,000. High-value goods like electronics or jewelry, foreign purchases and souvenirs, food items, and any other belongings that could raise questions. Deliberately failing to declare prohibited items or goods over a certain value is illegal, and dishonest answers can quickly escalate the situation. But customs isn't trying to nitpick every small purchase. They just need to verify nothing is being unlawfully transported. The smoother you can make this process through proactive and complete declarations, the better for everyone. Number 6. Follow all officers' instructions on additional screening. Customs has broad authorities when it comes to searching belongings and individuals for potential threats or contraband. If instructed to undergo additional screening measures like X-ray examination, pat-downs, or having bags searched, do not question or impede the process in any way. These security protocols are in place for good reasons related to public safety, as long as you have given complete and truthful responses. Number 7. If you have proper documentation for transporting any sensitive items, present it proactively. In some cases, you may be traveling with items that could raise red flags during screening if not properly understood and documented. This could include things like large amounts of cash or monetary instruments for legitimate business purposes, encrypted devices or storage media for work in sensitive industries, archival materials, antiquities, or cultural artifacts, certain types of electronics, technology, or software exports. Rather than waiting for customs to scrutinize these items, it's best to be upfront. Proactively explain what you are carrying and show any supporting documentation like licenses, permits, registrations, or employer letters certifying the legitimate nature of these goods. This demonstrates full transparency and allows officers to quickly verify compliance instead of escalating to additional screening. Attempting to bypass declaring sensitive items will only increase suspicion and complications. Of course, use good judgment on what actually requires advanced disclosure, but taking the initiative to provide context on anything unusual in your possession is advisable. Number 8. Explain the nature of your travel and activities transparently if asked. While very personal privacy is respected, customs officers need to understand the general reasons for your international travel and activities abroad. Be prepared to provide an honest yet concise description of matters like the purposes of your trip are tourism, business, and personal. The countries, cities, and specific destinations visited, the approximate dates and durations of travel in each location, the types of activities that you participated in, like sightseeing, meetings, and any other activities. If traveling for employment, the nature of your work and company. You don't need to recount every tiny detail, but give a clear overall picture of your travels. Seeming evasive or unable to properly characterize your activities can make you appear at higher risk. If there are any unique circumstances like touring areas of conflict or participating in certain overseas events, be upfront about this as well. Transparency is key. Officers aren't looking to pry into personal matters, but simply verify your travel was lawful and aligned with your stated purposes. The overall theme is that screening procedures can go much smoother if you maintain a fully transparent, honest, and cooperative approach throughout the process. Being misleading or withholding any information is ill-advised. As long as you have nothing nefarious to hide, proactively demonstrating your legitimate travel should allow you to complete customs quickly and continue on your journey. Number 9. Declaring agricultural items and products. Many travelers are unaware that customs has strict regulations around importing certain agricultural goods to prevent the spread of invasive pests, diseases, or contaminants. If you're carrying any items that could fall under this category, it's crucial to properly declare them. This includes fresh fruits, vegetables, plants, seeds, nuts, wood products, soils, and even certain animal products like eggs or dairy goods originating from overseas. Officers will likely ask about the types of items, their origins, and whether you've removed all soil vegetation if carrying produce. They may need to inspect for pests or further examine documentation on some products. Don't try to sneak any of these items through. It's not worth potential fines or rejected entry. Number 10. Questions about traveling with service or emotional support animals. Airports and airlines have very specific policies and documentation requirements if you are traveling with service animals or emotional support pets. Customs will want to verify you've met all of these regulations to avoid any disruptions. Be prepared to explain the purpose and designation of the animal like service dog and emotional support animal. You may need to present proper documentation like a physician's letter regarding the therapeutic need for an emotional support pet. Officers will likely ask about lodging the animal had during travel, any feedings relief processes, and professional service animal training certifications, if applicable. Having these details organized in advance can help this process go smoothly. Before we move on, I want to take a moment to express my gratitude. If you're new to our channel, please subscribe and click the bell to be notified of our latest travel tips and share this information with your friends and family. But let's get back to the topic. 20 tips for handling new customs and immigration security questions like a pro. Number 11. Inquiries related to transporting firearms, ammunition, or other weapons. If you are traveling with any firearms, ammunition, or other weapons for legitimate purposes like hunting or security work, customs will understandably need to scrutinize this very carefully. Be ready for detailed questions on any and all weapon types, makes, models, quantities, etc. You will likely need to present proper licenses, permits, or other documentation authorizing your transport of these restricted items across borders. Officers may ask about the purposes for having firearms, what they will be used for, and how and where you acquired them originally. They'll also want to verify you are following all storage and safety protocols for transporting weapons legally. Clear, direct answers showing you understand all regulations are a must here. Number 12. Explaining any recent acquisition of foreign citizenship or dual nationalities. Sometimes travelers may recently have acquired new foreign citizenships or nationalities in addition to their home country status. This type of situation often prompts additional questioning from customs as they verify the legitimacy and specifics of your current nationalities and travel documentation. Be prepared to explain any changes to your nationality or citizenship in detail, whether it's a newly obtained citizenship for another country, relinquishing or renouncing previous nationalities, recognition of citizenship by descent. You'll likely need to produce associated identification documents as well. Officers will scrutinize reasons for the changes, any discrepancies between papers, official stamps, dates of acquisition, and other factors. Having a clear command of the details will help this process. Number 13. Verification of travel purposes involving journalism, research, or non-profit work. If your travels involve purposes related to journalism, academic research, non-profit, NGO projects, or missionary work, customs will dig deeper on these activities to verify their legitimacy and your compliance with relevant regulations. High scrutiny is common with international research or journalistic endeavors. Be ready to articulate specifics on the exact focus of your work, who you report to and are employed by, countries visited for these efforts, and if any special licenses or authorizations were required for your activities abroad. Officers may inquire as to research topics, methods, study participants, and what kinds of data or materials you'll be transporting across borders. Having documentation like press passes, university credentials, NGO affiliations on hand is highly advisable. Number 14. Questions about carrying devices with encrypted data or privacy software. In today's climate of heightened cybersecurity awareness, Customs is trained to identify and investigate any potential hacking and surveillance threats, including computers, phone, or other devices containing encrypted software, privacy tools, or suspicious data. If they detect this technology, expect very detailed questions. Officers will likely ask about any encryption or anti-surveillance apps, the reasons for using them, and demand demonstrations that sensitive data access is properly restricted. You may need to provide passwords to verify your devices don't contain any malicious code, viruses, or hacking utilities that could pose digital threats. Be prepared to disclose organizations or employers that have authorized using encrypted communications or explain any personal privacy setups. Assure them you are not concealing any illegal materials. Number 15. Inspection of electronics and devices for prohibited content. Beyond just digital threats, Customs also has protocols for detecting and prohibiting possession of illicit content like child exploitation materials, graphic violence or torture videos, or any other obscene multimedia that could be considered contraband. They will review devices like phones, tablets, laptops, and external storage to check for this. If they do happen to find content prohibited by laws, you could face very serious legal consequences, including potential device seizure, fines, and even criminal charges or arrest, depending on the nature of the materials. Attempted cover-ups or hiding this content will only make the situation much worse. So when going through this routine screening, simply allow officers full access and be honest if they discover any prohibited files that may have been unknowingly downloaded or transferred to devices. Number 16. Disclosure of any recent overseas medical treatment or health incidents. Sometimes travelers visiting other countries require medical treatment due to an illness, injury, or other health incident they experience abroad. If this was part of your travels, you need to be upfront with customs about it. Officers will likely ask about where the treatment occurred, the reasons it was needed, types of procedures, facilities involved, and any related medications you may now be carrying. You may need to present documentation from the medical providers verifying the timeline and purposes of the health event. They'll also probe about the current status of any conditions to ensure you are fit to travel without being a potential health risk. While privacy is respected, providing this transparency on significant medical situations is important for customs to properly assess and facilitate any special accommodations you may require at the border due to prescriptions, mobility aids, conditions like dialysis, etc. Full disclosure benefits both parties. Number 17. Explaining reasons for travel to high-risk or sanctioned countries or regions. There are certain countries, regions, or territories around the world that the U.S. State Department has designated as high risk for travel, either due to conflict zones, political instability, economic sanctions, or other complex factors. If your travel involves any locations currently under such warnings or restrictions, expect very thorough questioning. Customs will probe the reasons you traveled to these sensitive areas, activities conducted there, any organizations and groups you interacted with, military or law enforcement encounters, and other specific details of your travel and potential security risks. Failure to disclose all relevant facts could be interpreted as immigration fraud. You may need supporting documentation like itineraries, employment records, journalist assignments to properly contextualize your purposes for high-risk travel. Explaining with clear reasons and absolving any potential nefarious ties or concerning behavior will expedite this process. Number 18. Questions about carrying large quantities of vitamins, supplements, or medications. If you're traveling with larger amounts of vitamins, supplements, medications, or other regulated health products, Customs is obligated to ask questions to ensure you are not engaged in any illegal shipping, distribution, or controlled substance violations at the border. Be prepared to clearly explain the details of what exactly you are carrying and why. For example, if it's a 90-day supply of prescribed medications you need for your own personal health management. You should have a physician's note or letter verifying any prescribed drugs and their purposes for your specific condition. For vitamins and supplements, be ready to provide a reasonable explanation for having larger quantities and personal stockpile usage or plan to self-distribute legally between households. As long as you have proper documentation and it's clear you are transporting these products legally for legitimate health reasons, this should go smoothly. But do expect probing about brand names, quantities, sourcing, and your overall need for these regulated medical or pseudo-medical goods. Number 19. When traveling internationally, it's important to declare and explain any foreign purchases that exceed customs exemption amounts. While most travelers are aware of the verbal declaration requirement, customs imposes specific dollar thresholds for formal paperwork and duties on high-value goods. Expect questions if you exceed this exemption limit. Customs officers will inquire about the types of goods acquired abroad, such as artwork, jewelry, electronics, cultural artifacts, or luxury items, and scrutinize values declared and proof of purchase amounts. Clear documentation showing legitimate foreign purchases and costs should make this scrutiny a formality. However, failing to accurately declare or pay duties on high-value foreign goods can result in fines, penalties, or seizure of merchandise, so transparency is essential. Finally, number 20. For travelers engaged in remote work or embracing the digital nomad lifestyle, providing additional context to customs about travel patterns and activities is crucial. Expect inquiries about employment specifics and be ready to explain your remote work setup, including company policies and documentation. Similarly, self-employed entrepreneurs should have a clear understanding of their business model and income sources. This verification process demonstrates your ability to earn globally while complying with tax and residency regulations. By transparently showcasing your financial stability and legitimate remote work, you reassure customs of your genuine intentions, ensuring a smooth passage through security checkpoints. Honest disclosure about non-traditional living arrangements up front can also help clarify your situation. Ultimately, being forthcoming about your lifestyle and providing evidence of financial stability reinforces your credibility and helps customs understand your travel motivations. With thorough preparation and authenticity, navigating customs becomes a seamless experience. Safe travels and stay tuned for more insights in our upcoming videos.